Welcome to another day on Planet Doug. I'm waiting for a Grab to take me to Queens Bay Mall for the Aeroline bus. And look at that, it just arrived. I'll explain why I'm taking a Grab in a minute. So I'm in the Grab now, heading to Queens Bay Mall, and that's where the Aeroline bus leaves from. So that's one complicating factor about taking, the luxury bus. I have to get all the way there just to start the bus ride. And my plan, I thought I was being very clever, was to take the bus, because I went there by bus before, by city bus. Bus 304 goes right there, stops right in front of the Aeroline offices. And as it turns out, bus 304 stops right outside my Airbnb. There's like a Nasi Kandar Pelita outlet right there. And I looked on the map, and yeah, the bus 304 goes right there. I never noticed the bus stop before. I was like, really? There's a bus stop there? I was kind of confused. But according to Google Maps, yeah, there's a bus stop there. And I went there to check it out actually earlier this morning because I wanted to make sure the bus really did stop there. And some local people told me, yeah, many buses stop here. And then I'm looking around and I see this pole. I should have taken a picture of it. And it was just a shattered pole that was like bent over and everything was broken and gone. And that was the bus stop sign originally. And I guess it got hit in an accident at some point and it's just like shattered. And there's no information there anymore, but I recognized it as a local Rapid Penang bus stop sign. So there was a bus stop there. It just wasn't marked anymore because someone had demolished the sign. And I was still planning to take that bus, but then, I left plenty of time. I thought I was leaving crack of dawn early, as I always do. But then when I checked the schedule online, rather than this bus coming every 15 minutes or 30 minutes or even 45 minutes, which I was prepared for, it wasn't going to come for like an hour and a half. That's what I was being told online anyway. They said, the next bus wasn't coming until basically forever, and I wouldn't be able to make my connection. So, for the first time ever, I think it's the first time in my life, I used Grab, and I have the Grab app loaded on one of my phones. But of course, and I set this up yesterday thinking that if the bus doesn't work, I'll have to take Grab. So I better make sure it works. And I have it on one phone, but I have the Grab app on another phone, and that other phone doesn't have a SIM card in it. I have the SIM card in my newer phone. So I thought, well, okay, that's not going to work. I have to move Grab app over to my new phone with the SIM card. But I couldn't do it. No matter how much I tried, I was not allowed to install Grab on the new phone. I just kept getting a server error message. Server error, try again later. Server error, try. And I worked on this for quite a while. I wondered whether I had to delete Grab from the first phone and then reinstall it on the new one. But I didn't want to do that because Grab was working on my other phone. I didn't want to risk that. So when I realized the bus this morning was not going to get here on time, I had to set up a Wi-Fi hotspot from my SIM card enabled phone to my other phone, which has no SIM card, connect them via hotspot so I can use the internet connection that way. And I hadn't done that before either, like phone to phone. I've done laptop to phone and it's no problem. I just turn on Wi-Fi hotspot and I connect on my laptop. But when I tried to do it with the phone, it asked me for a password to connect to the hotspot. And I thought, password? I don't have a password. Like, where the heck is that? So of course then I had to sit down and gather my thoughts, and I went into the settings, into mobile, hotspot, tethering, all that stuff. And in the settings, there's no menu item anywhere that says anything about a password. Like, there's nothing obvious. And then I just thought, well, maybe it's hidden somewhere. So the actual listing for hotspot, where you turn it on and off with a little slider, I thought that's all it did, but then I just tapped on it, and by tapping on that listing, it opens up a sub-menu with a bunch of advanced settings, which I didn't know were there. And then I found the password, a very complicated series of characters and numbers, and I put that in, and then it connected to Grab. But then, out of nowhere, Grab was asking me to verify, because I guess, yeah, I had never used it before. And I thought, oh no, because I've done similar things in the past, and it involved taking a photograph of your passport, ID, you have to stand there holding it, take a picture, upload it, it has to be verified. I thought, oh boy, this is going to take a long time, and even Grab is not going to get me to my bus station on time. But then it turned out that all you had to do was take your picture, and it was automated, and that's all I needed to do. There was no ID involved. I didn't have to set up a credit card or passport ID or anything like that. It just needed my photograph, and then it did that automatically, and Grab was activated. And long story, short result, within 3 minutes, a driver was at my door, and we loaded up my bags, and now we're on this busy highway heading to Queensway Mall. So, as always, the simplest thing I try to do turns into quite a technology adventure. There's the highway in front of us, heading into rush hour, getting a little bit busy. I was just chatting with my driver and talking about how easy this was. Like, once I got it set up, it was easy. I just had to select Grab Car or whatever that option is called, and the system searched. Everyone knows about Grab. Why am I telling you about Grab? But anyway, it's kind of new to me. And then it searched for a driver, found one, and I can't remember if I had to confirm. Yeah, I think I had to then confirm yes. And then within 3 minutes, he was at my door, and we're on the way. But I was telling my driver about my previous experiences, not with Grab. I don't think I've ever successfully used it before. I think I tried once in Indonesia, and it just failed miserably, and I wasn't able to do it. But in Indonesia, they have their own version called Gojek, and Gojek would work, but the problem was the drivers would never use the map coordinates. So, using satellite positioning. With my phone, of course, you use Gojek, and it shows exactly where you are. It says, pick up your passenger at this place, and it was always accurate. It pinpointed exactly where I was standing. But the drivers would never use that. I don't know why, but they never would. Instead, they would call you on the phone and then ask you where you are so they could come get you. And of course, that's not going to work for me because I'm horrible on the phone to begin with. I'm out in the middle of the street. It's very loud and noisy and crowded. And I don't speak Indonesian. And the drivers would always, if I answered the phone, they're speaking Indonesian. I know it's my driver, but I can't communicate with him. So every time I tried to use Gojek, I would have to first find a location, find a local person who spoke English, give them a warning, like a heads up, like, would you mind helping me out? It's like a James Bond mission. Like, my phone is going to ring in a few minutes, and they're going to want to speak to me about my location. Would you mind talking to the driver and telling him where I am? So I have to go through this long procedure. And anyway, it worked out in the end, but it was a lot of work, and I would often end up just shouldering my bag and walking because it was so much trouble to get hold of a Gojek. Yeah, but this is going to work out very well because I'm cool and dry. I'm not sweaty. I'm not tired. On the city bus, it would have taken much longer to get there, and I would have been a little bit flustered on arrival. But now, in theory, I'll be arriving at Aeroline, fresh as a daisy, though very early. Even for me, I'm going to be getting there pretty early, but I always have ways of entertaining myself. Yeah, I was just looking at the time. Yeah, I still have another hour and 10 minutes before my bus leaves, and I'm going to be there pretty quickly. So I'll have an hour at the bus station, but that's fine. I don't mind that at all. There's the rising sun and Penang Bridge. I think that's Penang Bridge number 1. Yep. Just heading underneath it now. And I don't know if we've passed it already. No, we wouldn't have, because it's right at Queens Bay. We might be going underneath the cycling bridge that I featured in a YouTube short, because it has this quite dramatic spiral bridge that climbs up to the level of the bridge for cyclists to ride up in a circle and get high enough to cross over the bridge, you know, cross over the highway. But we might be going underneath it. Find out in a minute. Oh yeah, more stories. Yeah, when Planet Doug is on the move, things get complicated. While I was here, I've been using a Brompton folding bike that a friend of mine lent me, which has been wonderful. And then the other day we drove all the way around Penang Island. Well, not on the bike. He came and got me in his car, and we spent a whole day on a day trip just going to a bunch of places around the island, which was great. But then when he brought me back to my Airbnb, it was like 2 days before my departure, or the day before, 2 days before. And he says, "Oh, I'm here right now. Like, what do you think? Shall we just load up the Brompton and I can take it now?" Which was great, because I wasn't going to use it again. And I thought, yeah, oh, that's good thinking on your part. You know, you're thinking, well, let me run up, I'll grab the bike and bring it down. And we did that. But of course, I hadn't been thinking about the bike in advance. So I made all kinds of mistakes. I gave him the bike. He rode all the way back home. He lives, whatever, an hour away on Penang. And then later on in the afternoon, I got a message from him saying, oh, he sent me a photo of a big extension arm camera mount, which I had left attached to the bike when I gave it to him. So he says, he sent me this photo. It's like, I think you forgot something. And he was holding it. That was quite funny. But yeah, I was such a dummy. I totally forgot I had that mounted on the bike. I didn't remove it before I gave it to him. And with the bike all folded up in a little like suitcase-sized package, like you don't even see it. Like you're not going to notice it. So, but luckily he knew someone that was coming into town and was going to be in my neighborhood, and he could give the mount, the extension arm, to this person, and they would drop it off at my Airbnb. But I wasn't in contact with this person, so we had another James Bond. Wow, we're here already. Oh, yeah. There's the roundabout. I'll finish the story once I'm at Aeroline and waiting. Man, did we get here a lot faster than I was expecting. Yeah, this is a big development here, and they're building more and more of these sort of luxury condominiums, you know, waterfront living. This one, I forget the name of it, but you can see the big Q1, which I guess stands for Queen 1. Queens Waterfront. Okay, this is the roundabout. I guess the two roundabouts look identical, so I thought we were already there. And just ahead of us there's the water, Jerajak Island, and the amazing path, you know, that goes along the waterfront. So I can continue with my story, but first the setting. There it is. The YouTube special. Every YouTuber apparently has to take the Aeroline bus, at least from Kuala Lumpur to Penang, or Penang back to Kuala Lumpur. I'm doing it in the other direction. So I think every video I've seen about this bus is coming from Kuala Lumpur, which makes sense. People land there when they fly in, and then when they come to Penang, I'm sort of going in the opposite direction. So I get to experience it in reverse compared to all the videos that I've seen. And they're not open yet, of course. I'm here so super early. Yeah, they don't open until 8. And I imagine they have a little lounge in there where you can sit. I remember when I came here to book the bus, And I guess my expectations were very high based on all this talk about, I mean, every YouTuber kind of exaggerates everything. It's like, we're taking the luxury bus to Penang. And then when they get on the bus, they talk so much about how amazing the bus is, all the luxuries that are there, how big the seat is. You can plug in your computer. I guess you get food, drinks. I saw one video where they were bringing coffee, hot coffee to every passenger, and I hope that's my bus. But anyway, by the time I watched all these videos, you know, my expectations were pretty high. And when I came here to book the ticket, I thought there would be like, you know, clerks in tuxedos and top hats and canes and like, welcome, sir. And they would carry me in, you know, on a chair, and they would serve me coffee. And I thought there'd be like a little coffee service area and a bathroom here. The bathroom is always the most important thing. Because when I was here last time, just to buy the ticket, I needed access to a bathroom, and I just assumed there would be one in their offices, because like it's a bus station, technically. Your passengers kind of want to use the bathroom before they get on the bus. So he says, oh, do you have a bathroom here? And they said, well, no, we don't. But we're here at a mall, so you can use the bathroom inside the mall. But again, the whole luxury thing, I just sort of assumed the office space would be, you know, absurdly luxurious. So, but you can see it's pretty basic, really. I mean, it's just a little counter in there, like almost no decor, just a cement slab, and then even this seating area. It's pretty utilitarian. I mean, it's functional. Okay, there's a whole spot there, I guess. Don't know if you can see it through the reflection, but there's like, that's for luggage. People waiting for the bus can pile up all their suitcases and bags there. Maybe they carry them out to the bus themselves and you don't have to do it. And then they have benches here that you can sit on. And benches are nice, big fan of benches, but again, the whole luxury thing, I was expecting, you know, lounge chairs and palm fronds and someone standing there with a big leaf fanning you and serving you pina coladas or something. But yeah, I'm here. Yeah, it was interesting dealing with the driver because I talked to him almost nonstop. When he hopped out of the car at my Airbnb, he was very personable, very friendly, very helpful, very warm and sort of open fellow. And so I just started talking to him and he was replying in English. I thought, oh, we're off to a very good start here. And then I was talking to him and I told him all about my life and all about my plans, how we're going to Queens Bay Mall. I'd entered Queens Bay Mall into the Grab app instead of Aeroline because I wasn't sure if Aeroline would make sense. Queens Bay Mall is a huge place, and this is the main entrance beside Aeroline. So I said that instead. But when I got into the car, front seat, I was talking to him and I said, yeah, I'm taking the Aeroline bus to Kuala Lumpur. And then he's like, oh, Aeroline bus. And he seemed to know what I was talking about. And it came up a couple of times on our ride here, you know, Aeroline, and there it is, and can he find it when we get there? And he seemed to be very much on top of things. But then we got here, we pulled in, and I just assumed we went around the roundabout, and the Aeroline is right here. And as we pulled in, you know, I pointed it out to him. I pointed to the right and says, oh, there it is right there, the big yellow and white sign with the name Aeroline, yellow and black lettering. That's Aeroline. I'm pointing at it in case he didn't know. And he's like, ah, there it is. There's Aeroline. That's where you need to go. As often happens when I'm overseas, I thought we were communicating like gangbusters. But it turns out I was doing a lot of talking. He was doing a lot of listening, but he didn't understand a thing I had said. He didn't really speak English to the extent that I thought he did. And all that talk about Aeroline, he had no idea. He wasn't even paying attention. So he drove up into here, and he actually took me into what I thought was like a private parking area. And he had to get a little card out of a machine to raise a barrier, and it looked like it cost 5 ringgit. So I was wondering, so, okay, why are we going into this fancy parking area? Because I thought he was just going to come right here. You can stop right at the side of the road. You could just drop me off here, and here's Aeroline. But it turns out he had no idea I was going to Aeroline. You know, he didn't know I was going here, even though I pointed right at it, and he was following my pointing finger, and he saw it. but it didn't mean anything to him. So he brought me way down there to the entrance, the main entrance to the mall. And then I kept saying, you know, it's just another 100 yards, just go this way. Aeroline is right there. And I said, you know, Aeroline bus. And he's like, oh, bus. And then he was going to drive all the way around and go around the roundabouts and bring me to the city bus station. And I was like, no, I don't want to go to the bus station, Aeroline. And we couldn't see it from where we were. It was around the corner. So I'm trying to explain. And he's like, no, bus, I'll take you right there. Don't worry. He's trying to be very helpful. And he's going to bring me to a place where I don't want to go. And then I'm going to have to walk all the way back here from the bus stop. And finally, though, he had to bring me down this way to bring me to the bus stop. And we were right in front of Aeroline. And I was like, no, here, Aeroline. And then he's like, oh, here. And then he looked at the sign. Oh, that's what this foreigner's been babbling about all this time. He had no idea. But this happens a lot when I'm overseas because, yeah, people nod. They want to be friendly. They nod to show they're paying attention. But it doesn't mean they know what you're saying. And if you ask a lot of yes-no questions, people just say yes, and you feel like you're having this amazing conversation. They just keep saying yes, and because that's polite. Anyway, here I am at Aeroline. But to continue with the story of the folding bike, I was describing it as another James Bond experience because, as I mentioned, I had left a extension arm, quite a valuable and specialized piece of gear that I have, mounted on the bike. Totally forgot when I gave him back the bike. He sent me the picture, and luckily he knew someone coming back into Georgetown. But I didn't know this person. I had no way to communicate with them. So now we had this situation where the person bringing me the extension arm was in contact with my friend, and my friend was in contact with me, keeping me updated on their progress and when they were going to arrive. And then I got messages saying, oh, they're there now. You know, they're downstairs right now. You can go get it. So I went downstairs and they were waiting for me. I got the extension arm. And a bag of hot and spicy tapas snacks came with the extension arm. Wasn't for my friend. This other person gave me this snack. So I enjoyed those last night. Very hot and spicy. Yeah, there's a lot of digestive gurgling going on after I dove into those snacks. Story's not over though, because I'm busy packing up and getting ready this morning in my room, running around, doing a whole bunch of things. And as I always do, I check everywhere. I check under the bed. I open every drawer. I make sure there's nothing in the room. And I look on top of the wardrobe. Guess what I find? My friend's bicycle helmet. Because he gave me a helmet along with the bike, and I never wore it. And I just put it out of the way. I could see it on top of the wardrobe. It wasn't like it was hidden. It was just up there. And when I rushed inside that day to get the bike and give it to him, I forgot my camera extension arm, and I forgot to give him his helmet. And I didn't realize it until this morning, right in the middle of all the packing and trying to figure out the bus schedule and trying to get verified on Grab and trying to set up a Wi-Fi hotspot and getting passwords and taking my photo and it's like, oh, the helmet. How am I going to get this back to him? Felt so bad. But then a little bit of luck came into play. A few pieces of luck. One is that my friend is an early riser. I knew he'd be awake. And his friend's hair salon, where he dropped off the bike to begin with, is right around the corner. Jigsaw. That's where I picked up the bike long ago. So I suggested to my friend, I sent him a message, dummy over here, and remember how I forgot the extension arm? Guess what else I forgot? Your helmet. And I suggested I could just put it at Jigsaw, like hang it from the door handle or something. If there's a place I can put it there, hopefully nobody would steal it. And that was kind of our only option. But then he sent me a photograph of a nearby shop, because Jigsaw is going to be closed, and as it turns out, it has those big steel shutters, so there's nothing there to hang anything on anyway. But he said this shop, neighboring shop, is owned by the Jigsaw hairstylist's uncle, and you can leave it with him. So before I left to come here, it was, pitch black. It was still quite early in the morning. I left the Airbnb, went to Jigsaw to drop off the helmet, and luckily the uncle at this shop was there. He was already there cleaning and getting ready to open his shop. So I went up to him and we had a funny conversation too, because he knows the man from Jigsaw and knows him personally, is either a very good friend or a real uncle. It's never clear whether uncles really are uncles. Could be just an older male relative, male friend. So anyway, I showed him, I talked to him and said, okay, like, this man from Jigsaw, like, you know this place, right? And then he said to me, oh yeah, men, women, they cut hair for men too, no problem. I said, no, I'm not looking for a haircut, but you are, uncle, you are the uncle of the hairstylist at Jigsaw, the man who owns this. And he's like, yeah, they cut men's hair, don't worry about it. And we went around in circles for a little while, and then I was finally able to wrestle that conversation to the ground and explain. I showed him the helmet. I have to give it to him, but he's not here. The door is closed. Would you mind giving it to him when you see him? And then he didn't really want to take the helmet at first. He's like, oh, who are you? And like, you know him? You know him? He says, yes, yeah, I know him. I know him quite well, based on a 3-week acquaintance. But yes, I know him. We've spent time together. And this is his helmet. He's like, why are you giving this to him? And it's like, well, I tell the whole story. And eventually he came to understand and accept what was going on. And I have a little business card now, with Planet Doug and all my information on it. And I said, okay, this is me. And that made him happy. It's like, oh, okay, now I have some ID. And he put it in with the helmet. And so I took care of that as well. Yeah, complicated life I lead, apparently, all due to my own dumb brain. There is a question to be answered today, of course, about the Aeroline bus. It's more expensive than the alternatives. I think my ticket was 60 ringgit. And I think a local, like an ordinary bus, like a Billion Stars Express, there's another one called KKK something. And I'm not entirely sure, but I think they cost 35 ringgit. So you pay a 25 ringgit premium to take the Aeroline. So the question is it worth it? And I guess it depends on a lot of factors. We'll see as it unfolds. But one thing is, it depends on your location, I guess. Because if you live right here, your hotel is here, you just come over here. But of course, my Airbnb was far away in Georgetown, so you have to factor in coming all the way here. And I didn't think it would be a big deal. 2 ringgit on the city bus. You leave early enough, make sure you're not stressed out and rushing. Leave yourself enough time. I found out the bus stops right outside of my Airbnb. It was all good to go. But then Grab. I checked yesterday, actually, and the Grab cost 20 ringgit when I checked. So I thought, that adds the price. Now, technically, my ride to Kuala Lumpur isn't costing 60 ringgit. It's costing 80 ringgit, 60 plus 20. But of course, when I booked my Grab this morning, it was a busy time, a rush hour, and there's a premium for that, almost double. So in fact, my Grab ride here cost 36 ringgit. And I thought it was going to cost 5 ringgit more because of the parking area he came into with the special card. I thought that cost 5 ringgit and I would have to cover that as well. But it turns out there was no charge for that. So I paid the driver 36 ringgit, which was the exact fare as shown on Grab. So now we're looking at, almost 100 ringgit, 96 ringgit so far is the total. So yeah, there's that added cost. And it's interesting that I was doing this grab and paying the premium price because, as I mentioned in other videos, I love to listen to podcasts, and one of my favorite podcasts is called Radiolab, and I've been working through a whole back catalog of their shows. And just yesterday, one of the shows I was listening to had a big segment about this exact thing, about ride sharing apps. It was called the gig economy, how people today, jobs are disappearing. There's so many gig jobs where you can be a Grab driver or buy things and sell them on eBay, at a premium. DoorDash from the United States is huge. DoorDash, you can have a job as a DoorDash driver. And in the Radiolab podcast, they were talking to a lot of these people about their experiences, good and bad, and how one guy started off as a DoorDash driver, I think it was DoorDash, and really struggled with it. He wasn't making any money at all. And then he stumbled across this little community of DoorDash drivers, and they taught him all the tricks and the secrets, how to maximize your income. And then I guess they have all these systems in place where they can look on Google Maps or look on the DoorDash app and see like a really busy area. And because there's a lot of people asking for drivers right now, and when that happens, it's like a premium period, and all the drivers can rush there and they get 20-30% extra fare. So I was listening to this long story about all these secrets they use. They go to like baseball stadiums at the exact time when the game lets out, because they know it's going to be like premium time, and their fares double, and they can make a lot more money. And that's exactly what happened to me. Instead of 20 ringgit, it was 36 ringgit. So yeah, learning something new every day on Planet Doug. An Aeroline employee just showed up, went inside, unlocked the door. It's 5 to 8 now, and technically they open the doors at 8, and a few people are starting to arrive and waiting. A security guard for the mall just walked by, and as is my habit these days, I called out something to him, just said, "Good morning," and then he said, "Good morning. I just want to talk to everybody." And I said something, "Oh, so you're checking, you're doing a sweep, checking them all?" And he says, "Yep." His shift ends at 9 o'clock, and just before his shift is over, he walks all the way around the mall, looks at all these places to make sure that everything's okay, and then he can sign off for the day, sign out from his shift. So I guess he's been here all night. Things are starting to happen. Yeah, someone's at the front desk, and then you just put your bags here, and maybe they put them on the bus for you, or you have to get them yourself, I'm not sure. And then they have a seating area over here, the benches I mentioned. And I was babbling about men in tuxedos serving pina coladas and coffee, but they do have this. So there's some drinking water here, which is nice, and hot water. And you can make your own coffee. Or is that tea? I think that's tea and sugar. But there it is. But the one thing they are missing, as I said, well, they're missing a lot of things, because they had the hot water and the cups and the sugar and the spoons, but there's no actual coffee. There's just one little tea bag sitting there. So it's not like it was a spread. A little disappointing, you're sort of hoping for more than that, something to make you feel good about taking the Aeroline bus. And the one thing they're missing is the bathroom. That's what I was going to say. And I mentioned, I asked the woman there, like when does the mall open so we can go in there to use the bathroom? And the mall isn't open, but she says, if you tell them you're here for the bus, they will let you in and you can use the bathroom. So That is what I'm trying to do right now. And I walk down to the doors. These are the nearest doors that I could see. That's where the driver was going to drop me off to go into the mall. And but they wouldn't let me in there. There's a security guard there, and he says, no, you can't come in through here. What you have to do is go in this direction to the Ipudo place, and there's another door there, and there they will let you in. And again, not to be a nitpicky Planet Doug kind of guy, but for me, if I were training my staff for a luxury bus line, I would have them, if the customer asks you about, you know, a bathroom, tell them where to go. Like she just says, well, yeah, you go in the mall. It would have, if I were doing her job, I would have said, yeah, what you do is you go outside, turn left, and you can go into the mall at the entrance by the Ipudo shop. Something. But she just basically said, go in the mall, and it just left me to wander around and try to figure it out on my own. So, you know, I'm a crazy person when it comes to customer service. I think about these things a lot because I think I would have been very good in that role. I think I could have had a happy life as a concierge at a luxury hotel or something like that. I just love helping people out with the little things, you know, it's fun. This is amusing to me anyway. I'm actually inside the bathroom stall in the mall. And it's funny because I just recently had a big bathroom adventure when I came to Aeroline to buy the bus ticket. And I told that whole story in one of the journal videos. But I was talking about how I like the bathrooms here because they have big private stalls. You know, the doors go floor to ceiling and the walls are floor to ceiling. So you have like a private little room. But if they don't turn the lights on, it's pitch black in here. I can't see anything. And I looked for light switches to control the lights in the bathroom stalls. The light is on in the bathroom, but not inside this inside the stalls. I couldn't find anything anywhere. So yeah, my luxury bus ride, pitch black bathrooms. A funny twist to that is I'm all finished in the bathroom, but now I need to flush the toilet, but I can't find the flush mechanism because it's pitch black in there. You know, you're feeling around the walls and it's like, how do I flush this thing? But it is kind of a really nice, fancy shopping mall, very modern and kind of luxurious. So they have automatic flushers. So all you have to do is get up and walk out, and then a motion sensor will trigger the flush for you. So that part of it works out. However, right here inside the mall is a Starbucks. And yeah, look, it's open. So if you are taking the bus, the Aeroline bus, this probably will be open in time for the 8:30 bus, and then you can come here for a coffee. And I'm hoping they're going to serve coffee on the bus, so I'm going to probably just wait until later. We'll see. Maybe I can't resist. Find out. And the Starbucks has a door on the outside, so you don't actually have to go into the mall to go to that Starbucks. So if you're taking the Aeroline bus from Penang, Queens Bay Mall, get to the bathroom through Ipudo, and you can get your coffee here at Starbucks. It's just a short distance from Aeroline. Actually, there's one of the Aeroline buses parked right there. Probably mine. Same thing with the luggage though, because when I went in and I spoke to the woman at the counter and I was sort of wondering whether there's a check-in procedure, and there is a place there to put your luggage. I saw people putting luggage there. I had to ask another passenger. It's like, it's okay for us just to put our bags here? And she says, yeah, I think so. So I just put my bags there. But I don't know whether I have to do anything else. Like, do I have to put them on the bus, or are they going to just take care of all the luggage for us? Do we have to get a luggage tag to put on it? Again, the woman at the counter didn't take the opportunity to explain this to me at all. So, yeah, again, you know, customer service. I remember praising the Gaosan Art Hotel in Bangkok so much. And it was mainly because of the people that were running the front desk, because they were so helpful with all of my queries, but then they would take the extra step of anticipating my needs. They would tell me things I didn't even think to ask, and they would offer me suggestions. For example, when I showed up and my room wasn't ready yet because it was still like 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and I went up to the counter and said, yeah, I know I'm very early, but I'm here, you know, can I check in now or something? And he says, no, your room isn't ready. But they didn't leave it at that. They says, no, your room is still occupied. And then they didn't just turn away. Then she said, well, but we have another room that is ready right now. It's a bit more expensive, you know, than your other room. And if you pay a little bit extra, you can get into that room right now. And obviously that's what I did. So just little touches like that. And then there was a time I wanted to get something printed, and I went up to the counter thinking maybe they have a printing service. And she says, yes, we do have a printing service, but the printer is broken right now. But she didn't just leave it at that. She then said, so what you could do is if you go outside and turn right and then go down here a block, there's a place over there that can print for you. See what I mean? She anticipated what I needed, didn't just tell me something and stop. And that's amazing customer service. It's funny, the more things that I do, the more I realize how out of touch I really am. It feels like I work like a full-time job just mastering technology, working with technology. And despite all of that work, I'm still far behind a normal person, it appears. Maybe it's just being a foreigner in another country, because everyone here appears to be, they're trying to check in on their phone. Everyone is like doing something on the phone. But they just said that the online like ticket system is down right now. So they have to check people in manually. So then I had to find all this out myself. I went up to ask them what was going on. And then I gave them my ticket, and then they used their phone to take a picture of it or something. And so they're checking everyone in, but everyone else around me, they all have, you know, they're doing everything on their phone. I'm like the only one here still using paper. The big moment has come. Yeah, the bus is just about to arrive. And yeah, everyone is gathering up their luggage, as you see. Wow. How far do we have to walk? I just assumed the bus would come right here. I mean, what's with this luxury bus? Got to go for a hike to get to the thing. Come on. Yeah, this really surprises me. I guess it's just a physical thing. The buses just can't go here. But the bus that I saw, it's down there, past Ipudo. So all my questions about, you know, will they load the luggage onto the bus themselves? Clearly not, because you have to walk to the bus and bring your bags with you. That's funny. I just assumed the bus would, I mean, it's got a big, wide driveway right in front of their offices. Why wouldn't they just go there? But I guess it just doesn't, the bus doesn't fit. Well, that's the luggage area. It's big enough for any size suitcase will fit in there. So that's good. And you just hand off your bag, and he picks it up and puts it in there, which is good because it's not a vast amount of storage space. So if a lot of people have full-sized luggage, it takes a little bit of puzzle skills to get it all to fit in there, perhaps. Oh, but we seem to be checking in a second time. I thought I'd already checked in. Oh, sort of a dual process now. And that's what an Aeroline ticket looks like, by the way. Yellow and black and white is their color scheme. my amazing Osprey backpack towering above everything else. Fully packed right now. And now comes the ultimate moment. Seat 4A. Did I choose well, I had no real choice, to be honest. I was gonna say, did I choose wisely? But I didn't really choose the seat. It was like one of the few that was left. But they have some kind of a lounge, not a lounge, but a luxury section on the bottom, like right here. Seems to be, this is a premium spot on a premium bus. So even the luxury bus has a class system. The premiums go down there, or premiums, and the ordinary premiums go up there. But I'm very curious what seat 4A looks like. Yeah, she takes her phone and scans everyone else's phone. Yeah, QR code. Oh yeah. Okay? Yeah, it makes sense. I didn't realize it, but my ticket has a QR code on it as well. So anyway, oh yeah, here's the downstairs area. You guys have the luxury seats. Very nice. And I have to come up here. Oh, look at that. I mean, that would be my seat of choice right there. Right by the windows, right? Look at that. If you were sitting here, you would have this view right out the front of the bus. So that's very nice. So this is a 1C and 1B. So those are the seats you want. 1C and 1B. Look at that. If you're in 1C, you've got the huge windows over there, the entire front of the bus. And then there's the rest of the bus. Oh, so I guess the bathrooms would be downstairs at the back. So you have to go through the luxury area to get to the bathroom. And there it is. There's mine. There's nothing wrong with that seat at all. 4A on the screen. Good morning. Towel service. I mean, a towel, blanket. Because it's going to be very cold, I think. I can already feel it with the cold air blowing down from up there. Yeah, right here. I guess you could... oh, they are kind of closed already. Oh, look at that. Okay. If I open them, there's like a blast of cold air coming out. Polar bears would be very happy in this seat if you turn those open. I think I'll leave mine open for now. Just, I need to get rid of some accumulated sweat, I think. I'm not going to need lights, but let's see what happens. Ah, okay. So I got a light there. 2 lights. So, okay, super bright and dimmer. Yeah, a little bit dimmer, like a night light. And this is more of a reading light. I guess this summons a attendant. And then there's lights here. So this is definitely very, very nice. I mean, my seat, 4A. Yes, 4A. So I have the view totally unobstructed right through the front of the bus, which is nice. On my bus from Mesot, I had a similar seat, except I would have had that seat right over there, but because it wasn't a double-decker, all I saw was a wall ahead of me because the whole driver compartment was sealed in like a private room, like the cockpit of an airplane. And then once they closed the door, it was just a solid wall, blank wall I was staring at for the whole trip. But here, you get to look outside. Okay. I'm starting to feel the luxury coming through. My arrival at their office. I wouldn't call that luxury. I would call that kind of normal. but now this is looking, feeling quite special. Big windows, like they clearly worked very hard to maximize the window space in the design of this bus, you know. It's not like there's like giant support structures and tiny windows. It's almost all window all the way around. And a review of seat A. I guess one of the couple of unusual things about this seat, maybe why nobody else chose it, is that you don't have the little baskets in front. You know, like all the other seats just have this little spot there. You can, like I found a bottle of water on my seat, but then I have nowhere, you know, to put it. I'm holding it between my legs because there's no, you know, there's no basket here. There's no tray table or anything. It's just a flat surface. And all the other seats, you can fold up your screen. I don't know what these screens do yet, but you can fold them up out of the way. But since there's no seat ahead of me, my screen, as you can see, is right here. So it's a kind of in the way of your elbow, and I can see, you know, you're getting in and out of your chair all the time. Just, you know, just have to be aware of this. But it swings into position quite nicely. There you go. Yeah, they still have a mask requirements, like to ride on a bus you have to wear a mask. Going to a shopping mall, I have to wear a mask. Getting into the Grab, I had to wear a mask, which is why I've had a mask on this whole time. And I just saw here there's a sign about that. COVID-19 safety, 4 key initiatives. Yeah, the screening is gone, but they still have it here on their messaging. Like there's no temperature checks. Seating arrangement 2 and 1. They clean the bus after every trip. And then some sort of special policy or protocol for air and surface protection. I guess it uses ultraviolet light to disinfect. They probably don't do that anymore. Okay, we're leaving. And look at that, 2B and 2C are empty. I'm really surprised. I thought the bus was, maybe we are picking people up at another location, I don't know. At least you couldn't ask for a nicer day. Clear, sunny skies. I already had to close the air conditioning vents. I was just way too cold. It's quite the feeling sitting up here with this expanse of windows. Look at that, because it's not just straight ahead. You can see the side of the bus is angled downwards. So that actually pulls the surface area for the front windshield down, down, down. If it just stayed on level, you would just have like a slit there, but they designed it to have as big a windshield at the front as possible. So yeah, I can basically have a really nice view all the way around me. I can see everything through the windows on my right as well. Everything ahead of me, and of course everything on my left. Nice. And I don't think this was operational before, but they just turned it on. And there's like earphone plugs here. So if you have your own earphones, you can plug them in, I guess. 3.5 millimeter jack, USB charger, which is nice, assuming it works. The Lion King, Thor, The Dark World, Toy Story 4, Avengers Endgame. Yeah, a bunch of big blockbusters. They're not the most recent movies, but that doesn't matter. Pitch Perfect 3. Fast and the Furious, Dumbo, Avengers. Now, do they play? Or is this like you have to pay or not? Let's see if Pitch Perfect 3 will play. Yeah, there you go. It works. And I do have earphones, so I'm going to test the audio. We left right on time, by the way, which is nice. Like right at 8:30. We're moving, so we're not moving now because this is still rush hour traffic, morning traffic here in Penang. But I don't think we have to go very far. We're just going to get to a bridge and go across. We should start moving pretty quickly. And they just had a series of announcements about the services on the train, on the bus, and that it takes 5 hours. The scheduled time is 5 hours. And yeah, there was some English mixed in with the announcement, but even the English, because of the speaker system, I can never understand anything anyone says over a PA system. You know, even in English, I never have any idea what they say. Oh, actually they have, yeah, I have my own, at least, yeah, I was coming by with headphones. Yeah, they look quite nice. I might have taken them just for fun, except here in seat 4A, I have to pile everything in my lap because there's no place to put anything. With the other seats, of course, if you're not using them, you can put them in the little pocket at the front of the seat. But since I have my own earphones, yeah, I don't need the headphones. I was listening to the announcement, but because of the speaker, I couldn't really understand. Can you tell me a bit about the services on the bus? Like what's going to happen?
Okay. I made the welcome announcement.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, my name.
Okay.
And then with my captain, we will with you during this journey. Originally bound to Chorus Hotel, Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, okay. Chorus Hotel.
Of course, number VBR, number 809.
Oh, okay. That's the name of the bus. Okay. And do you serve anything on the bus during the trip?
I serve me and hot beverage.
Oh, hot beverage. Okay. I love hot beverages. When does that happen, the hot beverage?
After this.
Okay, excellent. I'll let you do your job.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Hot beverage on its way. And they serve some kind of mee on the bus. I'm not sure what time, though. Maybe when we're underway for an hour or two, they're going to serve a meal of some kind. I think he said it was some kind of fried mee. Something else I want to test just for fun, because it does have a USB charger, built into the screen. It's down on the, that's better light holding it this way. There's a little USB plug right down here beside the earphones. And I just want to see whether it actually delivers power or not. Success. Don't know if you can make that out. There's the red charging light. This is my One X2 360 camera. And plugged it into the USB charger, and it's charging up the battery. Nice. One thing to note for anyone that does need electricity, like more than just a USB charger, there is an electrical outlet down by my feet, but it's one of those big, like UK style 3-prong things. So that's the kind of plug you need. And if you don't have that kind of plug, of course, you need all the adapters. Oh, we just passed by the spiral bicycle bridge right back there. And there's a Jarajak Island. As my friend explained to me, this was once used as a leper colony. I don't know what time period, though, a while back. And then it was used as a prison for a while. And today it's largely undeveloped. I'm sure there are some things out there. I see some docks. But it's not. I mean, you would expect a place with this much tourism, that island would be a real hotspot for development. But at the moment, it seems relatively untouched. But in the future, that will probably be developed with all kinds of resorts and activities. Seems like kind of a no-brainer. And we're heading to the big bridge. That's how we're leaving the island. Penang Bridge number 2. It has a local name, but it's one of those extremely long names named after some famous historical figure, a Shah or someone from the past. And there's no way I'd ever remember it. So I just call it Penang Bridge number 2. And I believe it's the longest bridge in all of Malaysia. So in order to use that 3-prong plug, like even with an adapter, you have to there's a safety pin. That UK 3-pronger has a pin on the top that pushes a switch and turns the current on. It's kind of a safety switch. So it's nice to have one of this kind of adapter. A piece of plastic you stick in there, and this part trips the safety switch, and then it delivers power. But then you need some kind of another adapter, like a North American style 2-prong. That's not going to fit in there, even with this. So then you need another adapter on top of that, you know, like a 2-prong round pin to go into there, and then this can fit into your round pin adapter. And just to be thorough, I'm going to check to see whether there's power down there as well, because I could use it to charge my phone. Also successful. My phone is charging now. Of course, it's fully charged. I don't need to charge anything. All my batteries, all my cameras, all my phones, everything is fully charged for this trip. I'd be embarrassed if I started a journey like this with all empty batteries that needed to be charged up. That wouldn't be very good. But yeah, we got power. So the only thing missing from my life is that hot beverage. I don't smell any coffee yet, but some coffee will be on its way shortly. Good timing. I have the camera running because we're coming up onto the bridge. While I was here in Penang, I was wondering whether I could make a day trip out of coming here on my bicycle and just riding my bike across the bridge just for fun to get the views, but I couldn't quite figure out what the rules were, but just reading between the lines and looking at everything online, it was pretty clear bicycles would not be allowed. You could do this on a car, a scooter, motorcycle. Of course, there's a scooter lane. You can see just up ahead there on the left, and there's a sign here that says motorcycles. But you wouldn't be, they wouldn't let you go across this on a bicycle anyway. I think they close it once a year for a special event where all pedestrians and cyclists can go across. And it's a big deal. Once a year, I think they do that. And get a nice view behind us. Yeah, I'm gonna miss Penang, I really am. There's Jerajak Island. Not often mentioned by visitors, I don't think. Oh, look at that, the other side of the island looks like it has a lot there. I assume those are all sort of floating docks for fishing boats. So they'd probably do a lot of fishing here in the strait. That's probably like a little fishing community. Yeah, this would have been a good day to be in Penang, take advantage of all that amazing weather. Yeah, the hills, like Penang Hill there, looks a lot higher from this perspective. You don't really see them when you're in the town, but from here you get a much nicer perspective. Quite impressive. You know, the interior of the island, very hilly. And on the other side, the wide open strait. A lot of boats out there, small fishing boats. And just sort of sprinkled across the strait. Now we just came over the top of the bridge. Kind of goes up to like a small hill in the middle. So you go climb up to the top and then we're coming down the other side. I assume they did that to allow passage for big boats down there. They'd have to go underneath the bridge. But here, of course, it's too low. Big boats couldn't go under the bridge here. Yeah, very impressive. It's a mega highway going over right across the water. Feels very fancy. And we're just now arriving at the far side of the bridge. Look at that thing behind us. I remember looking it up, but I've forgotten how long it is. But that was a long trip over the water on that bridge. It's it's several kilometers long. I'll have to look it up to get the exact number. Yeah, I actually, when I looked up, I was busy doing something else, and a lot of time passed by while I'm busy doing something else. And I looked up, and it's like, oh, we're still on this bridge. It just seemed to go on for much longer than you would think. Yeah, as I mentioned in one of my first videos from here, when I was walking along Beach Street, talking a little bit about the history of this area, one of the things that surprised me is, well, that, a lot of people don't know that Penang, the state, actually has two parts. Penang Island is only part of it. A big section of the peninsula is also part of Penang State. And the city here the name of which I've forgotten already, forgotten again. Let's see. Wonder if it says anything here. I was looking for a road sign that has the name of the city, but I don't see one. It is the second largest city in Malaysia. This city in Penang, which is like is on the peninsula on the on the shore opposite Penang Island. This city here is actually the second largest by population in the country. But you wouldn't think that at all to look at this place. Yeah, I don't get that, but that's what I read. And we're coming up on a toll booth for this superhighway to get us back to Kuala Lumpur. One thing about these trips, these train trips and bus trips, Penang to Kuala Lumpur, or even Kuala Lumpur down to Johor Bahru to Singapore. If you watch videos about those trips, I think you have to take things with a bit of a grain of salt, because you'll watch the video and partway through the video you'll see some beautiful scenery, that they include in the video. But it's a little bit of an illusion, I would say, because I've done this trip a few times by train and by bus, Penang to Kuala Lumpur. I've done this in the past, and I've gone down to Singapore by bus, and there really is not a lot of scenery to talk about. We're going to be on a major highway the whole way, and it tends to be flat land, a lot of palm oil plantations, kind of scrub brush. You're not moving through, gorgeous mountain scenery or craggy rocks or lakes and waterfalls, anything like that. It's not that scenic a journey. But yet, if you watch a lot of the YouTube videos, of course, whatever nice scenery you just happen to pass by, a minute here and a minute there, they'll take those clips and put those in the video, and you might get the impression that that's the scenery you're seeing the whole way. But no. Whatever the enjoyments to be had on this bus ride, I mean, there's lots of interesting things to see. Obviously, everywhere is interesting. But there is not a lot of dramatic, natural scenery on this ride. At least I haven't come across very much. You see a little bit here and there, some rocky outcroppings, some hills, but that's not the kind of trip it is. Things are starting to happen. One thing is that a little snack was just brought up. I was hoping the coffee would be first, but I guess that's me. My habit is always coffee first on an empty stomach. I just love that for some reason. And then much later I might have food, but I think most of the world operates differently. They want the food first, so they brought a little package of fried mee and some snacky, crunchy things and some plastic cutlery. And the other thing is, I mentioned when I got on the bus that the two seats at the very, very front are unoccupied completely. I thought maybe we'd be stopping somewhere else, like at the train station, and new people would get on, but I just asked and they're completely unclaimed. So I'm going to move to the very front of the bus. Maybe I could find out why nobody wants to sit there. It probably has to do with the sun, I think, that you got that massive windshield at the front, and if the sun is ahead of us, which it may be at some point, it's going to be coming directly in and hitting those seats. But that doesn't bother me. And you could pull down window shades if you wanted to, but the view, right? I have to go do that. So these are the seats I'm talking about. So I'm going to move up to there. At least I'm going to sit down up there, see if I like it better. Can always move back if it turns out it's not as good as I think it is. New seat. What can I tell you? I'm in command now. I'm in the driver's seat practically. Check out the view ahead of me. The whole road. Yeah, you'd think I had my camera mounted on the front of the bus, or I'm on a scooter with a camera mounted on a high pole or something. But the reason nobody sits here is pretty obvious right away. It's the sun. Because as I sit here, I'm being hit by the sun. And maybe it could get hot, I don't know. But as I said, if it gets too hot, I can always just move back to my original seat. But for now, I like this a lot. see the whole bus behind me. I can pretend I'm up here driving the bus. And by moving here, I get a working tray table. Right there. As I was doing the inspection tour of my seat, I found out that I did have a little tray table in the armrest, but it's broken. It just sort of flops over when you take it out. But the one up here is in good condition. And I'm being a dummy as usual. It turns out that what I thought were snacks, like crunchy snacks, that's eggs, kind of scrambled eggs. Oh, I'm about to have my onboard breakfast. Road sign, 288 kilometers to Kuala Lumpur, something like 98 to Ipoh. My view is still spectacular. Yeah, just being able to sit here and have this view makes the whole luxury bus experience worthwhile. Paying the premium price for the bus and then having to pay for a grab to get me to Aeroline. I have this view to make up for the added expense. The little breakfast was fine. Everything, it was hot, fresh noodles, very spicy, really nice, with scrambled eggs. Can't go wrong with that. A little bit of fried meat and scrambled eggs. And then the attendant just came by to ask to take an order for a hot beverage. And I guess you could choose between tea and coffee. Maybe he has cold drinks as well, I'm not sure. So, based on my experience so far, I'm not ready to pronounce judgment yet, but definitely a good bus. It's probably worth the extra money to take a bus like this as opposed to the local bus. One thing I hadn't mentioned yet was the waiting area inside where the benches are, that is air conditioned. So that's a big bonus too. I mean, if you took a local bus or a more ordinary bus from down, I think they leave from like Comtar Tower area. Maybe if I knew exactly where they left from and I'd scouted that out in advance, I would have taken one of those buses. But I never did come across where those buses leave from, where they park, how I hadn't looked into any of that. So the only bus I really had information about was this one. But then if you're taking one of those buses, you're kind of outside the whole time. I was just hearing this little buzzing sound like there was a mosquito in my ear. Turned out it was the engine from that little scooter down there. They're driving that engine hard to be going at this speed up this incline. Yeah, sounds like a little chainsaw motor revving up. Oh, another one, look at that. He's got the throttle obviously completely maxed out, twisted all the way back. That's funny. I wonder what, oh, another one. Got a gang going by, scooter gang. They have a real distinct sound, these little bikes. Yeah, they're clearly a group. There are a couple of additional benefits to moving here to the front. One is that I now have two seats to myself. So I have my seat and my companion seat over there. The window seat is unoccupied. So yeah, it's kind of nicer for me. I can sort of spread out, dump some gear over there, and I've got all this room in front of me, a lot of leg room, and a space over here to put my knapsack. And I just discovered something quite unexpected. Are you ready for this? You have to look down to see it. I've got a little lever over here. I pull the lever. And leg rest pops up. Doesn't really work for me, I'm afraid, because my legs are too long. I can't really take advantage of them because my feet end up jamming against the front, kind of at this angle. I can't. Well, if I scoot down, maybe I can use them. But that's kind of nice, to get a little bit of support underneath your calves here. But if you're a shorter person, this would be really nice to have. If your feet can fit in here when they're raised up like this. But you have to bear in mind that, especially here in 1B and 1C, you're going to get the sun. The sun is going to come through the front windshield, and you could get a full body, head to toe blast of the sun. Right now, it's sort of off on an angle somewhere, so I'm not getting hit by the sun. So to sit here at the very, very front, you have to be comfortable with taking a sun bath, maybe. But as I said, you can pull down the shade if you wanted to. Let me try that right now. Here's the shade. Oh, look at that. Comes straight down. And, oh, it has suction cups on the bottom. So I guess you would attach them, hold them in place. Because, oh, it goes right back up automatically. My coffee just arrived. Oh, feels nice and hot. So hot, I can't even hold my fingers against the side right now. Excellent. And this is white coffee, but he offered me extra creamer and sugar. And I feel in need of the calories, so I'm just going to put everything in there and mix it up. Oh, this is amazing. Such a great view from up here, drinking a cup of coffee like this. Earlier, I was talking about how the scenery on this ride never struck me as that interesting, you know, whether I went by bus or by train. But I'm wondering now whether I'm going to have to eat my words just because I have such an amazing view. Maybe I'm just now able to see more than I did before because we're passing by a fairly scenic area, and there seems to be like a large mountain range off to the south to my right now. It's sort of hidden by the trees again. Maybe it'll open up here. This is the peak here. It's called Gunung Bubu. Gunung Bubu. Okay, where are they? The mountains. I saw them. I had a nice view a minute ago. Yeah, you can just make them out if these trees open up. Right here, you can get kind of a sense of what I'm looking at. You can see the hills over here, and then the higher peaks right there. There's a series of them going up higher and higher. And that is, I don't know how to pronounce it, of course, but on Google Maps, Gunung Bubu. And they have some really large rest stop areas too. We passed a really big one back there, and then here's another one. But yeah, there's a nice view of the mountains. And some of these lower hills, you know, coming right down to the sides of the highway. A lot of greenery. And some more of this scenery that I said didn't exist. There are some, yeah, rocky outcroppings here to my left. And then the hills coming right down to this town. Yeah, I'd call those mountains. Pretty high. Right over there. Came around this rocky outcropping. The sun is hitting it nicely. Yeah, you can see it pretty clearly there for just a second. Yeah, so this is actually quite a scenic area that we're going through right now. I'm having to eat my words more and more. The scenery is continuing to turn me into a liar. It's been really nice. I don't know what exactly I was looking at on my previous trips. I feel like I went down or through a different part of Malaysia. I honestly don't remember any scenery like this at all on the other trips that I've taken. even get to go through some tunnels. We even gained some altitude on that trip, because after we came out of that tunnel, we went down quite sharply, and I could feel my ears popping as we're slowly going down and heading towards Ipoh. And you get some interesting geography around Ipoh, and I do remember this from previous trips, whether by bus or by train, and I always remembered the scenery around Ipoh as being kind of a highlight. Mountains are nearby, and then even closer to town you get a lot of these limestone rocky outcroppings. I don't know if they're a big part of visiting the city. I know Ipoh, like Georgetown, is a big food place. You come there to try a lot of the local food, but maybe there are hikes and viewpoints inside, like at the top of all these limestone rocks and cliffs. I'm not sure about that. Looking at the signs for Ipoh, it apparently is called the Sunway City. That is their slogan. Sunway City, Ipoh. And as you can see, there's quite a few hills going all the way around the town, and quite a number of these rocky outcroppings right in the center of town too. Yeah, gives it a nice scenery for this town. It's interesting. It looks like they're doing a lot of gravel work here, like pulling out gravel. You see that road climbing very steeply up. I can't imagine anything making up that climb though, but yeah, it looks like they're digging out all of these cliffs. Okay, maybe not gravel, but some kind of stone. And there's more of the cliffs on this side, getting hit just right by the sun. Not sure if it'll come into view. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's a gravel processing center here. So yeah, they're tearing down those cliffs, digging them up and pulling out gravel. Kind of surprised. Seems like it's kind of a natural resource in terms of beauty and tourism. You wouldn't think you'd want to tear them down just to get the gravel. But I guess there are a lot of cliffs here, a lot of rocks. They can take out some of it without destroying all of it here. Here's a turn-off for heading to the Cameron Highlands. And that whole front side of those cliffs are being mined as well. Rest stop, side of the road. I've been so busy with checking out all the scenery, taking video and pictures, that the time has just been flying by. It's almost 11 o'clock. So we've been on the road for 2.5 hours. I thought we'd just left from Penang, but no, we've been, traveling a lot. And just in case you didn't see the bus earlier, that's what it looks like. The yellow, black, kind of white gray decor. It's like a giant bumblebee. And I'm not sure what's here. Of course there's bathrooms here. And I thought if someone here serves coffee, I might grab another cup of coffee, take it onto the bus. And in the bathroom you get some local wildlife. Those giant cockroaches that you get in this part of the world. Hello there, little guy. Or big guy, I should say. I saw someone just getting a drink out of here, and I don't know whether it's worth it or not. But just for the fun of using a vending machine, I'll take a chance. But a lot of X's though. None of these are available. But this cappuccino seems available. Red circles, cafe latte. Maybe I'll go for the latte. Let's try that. 2.5 ringgit. Okay, got a couple of ringgit here. Let's see what happens. Took one. Gave me a readout. 2. And I happen to have a, well, I don't know if it takes the large coins. They got coins here, all different sizes. This is one of the big ones. Yeah, I took it. 2.5 ringgit. Try the latte. The cup dropped. It's always a good sign. Hot water, just clear water. Milk. A little bit. And I don't know. I'm still waiting for anything that looks like coffee. Well, it's got a little bit of white foamy stuff on top. It's funny, there's no coffee at all. It's like hot water with a bit of milk. Like there's like nothing in there. There's no coffee. It's just milk. I guess it ran out of coffee and it doesn't know it. It thinks it's serving coffee. Yeah, I don't know. See if I can show you what it looks like. You see the top, just how blindingly white it is. It's basically a little bit of hot milk on top of hot water. There's no coffee at all. Yeah, occasionally I've waited too long. The other buses I took, I'm out here shooting video and stuff like that, and then the bus is sitting there waiting for me to come back because I lost track of time. I do find that local people, which makes sense, I mean, they're not out here for a holiday. Like, I'm enjoying the bus ride as an experience, which is why I want to sit at the front and see the views. I want all of that stuff, but everyone else on the bus, they all just went to sleep. As soon as the bus started moving, they all went to sleep. So they would have they don't need a seat with the best views. They're not going to be looking out the window anyway, for the most part. Time to get back on board. I don't want to be holding up this operation. Their slogan made me smile when I saw it the other day. The convenient way to fly. So I guess they're saying that it is such a luxurious, fast, smooth service. Taking a bus is like flying now. The convenient way to fly. Thought since we're not going anywhere right now, I thought take that chance just to come back and take a look at the bathroom. There shouldn't be anyone in here now. Whoa. So this is the bathroom. Yeah, pretty small. And obviously not used. Interestingly, no heavy usage. So I guess that's a euphemism. It's basically a urinal. You're not supposed to use it for anything else. Which I didn't realize that wasn't in the brochures. You know, no heavy usage. They even have a little fly zooming around there just in case you're not clear on what they're talking about. And this is a spot where the attendant has a seat where he can sit and do all his work. Coffee, hot water. And this is the downstairs area. I wonder how it differs from upstairs, really. It looks exactly the same to me. Seats, the entertainment screen. Just being on a lower level, I guess, makes it different. You don't feel the rocking of the bus as much. It feels smoother down here. Oh, and we're on our way. Yeah, that didn't take long. That was like an Indy 500 pit stop. You know, you roar in, the crew change the tires, fill the gas tank, and you blast out of there again. But yeah, that's something that's good to know. You know, no heavy usage for that toilet. You know, if you happen to be feeling a bit ill on your way, I guess you just have to grin and bear it until you get to this roadside stop or something like that. Of course, your brain starts to go around and around, though, that they say no heavy usage, but how is that monitored or enforced? Like if someone was in there for a session of heavy usage, do alarms go off? Like how would they know? Like does it flush? Is there water that would take care of the heavy usage? That's funny. That's the funniest thing I've seen so far. Back on the road. And there's the road. It did seem kind of cozy downstairs, like cozier than up here. Maybe just because it's a smaller number of seats in a contained area. Kind of felt like you're sitting in someone's living room down there. Whereas up here, you know, with the long row of seats has more of a institutionalized feeling to it. There's no mistaking where you are, you're on a bus. But yeah, down in that area down below, it felt a little bit more like someone's living room. Maybe that's the difference, more legroom, but nobody here needs more legroom than what we have up here. Even I don't. Yeah, when I booked my ticket, they showed me this top area, like a schematic of it where I could choose my seat. They mentioned the lower area, but that wasn't offered to me as I could choose one of those seats. I was asked to choose a seat from up here, so I don't know. Maybe it's more expensive down there, and you have to ask for it deliberately. I'm not sure. Ears are still popping, going up and down a little bit. Second funniest thing is my cafe latte with no cafe. Yeah, that machine just ran out of coffee, I guess. It's just spitting out hot water for everyone, and in my case, hot water and milk. It's pretty easy to tell when you've reached the outskirts of Kuala Lumpur. You're starting to see all these big buildings. I already missed a couple of really dramatic moments when we came over a hill and got this vast expanse of urban sprawl. It's a big city. A lot of these big apartment complexes everywhere. And you start to see, of course, more and more of these highways and flyovers and overpasses. It's a good thing the city has such a highly developed series, like MRT system for getting around. And off in the distance, there's the tower, KL Tower, Petronas Towers. The construction here is never ending. I mean, just from here, how many cranes can you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you can't count them fast enough. They come and go so fast. So many buildings going up all over the place. There's the Petronas Towers coming into view nicely. And I just got a message from my friend. He's already at the hotel where this bus is going to drop me off. So that's great. Get to meet him. And then I get to find out whether I have a room or not, whether I have a place to stay in Kuala Lumpur. My world is being dominated by tall buildings all of a sudden. I have to point my camera upward through the bus windshield to take it all in. This is kind of what I've been talking about so much when it comes to the city of Kuala Lumpur. It's like when I try to ride my bicycle, and then you might be coming out from over there and you want to get over here, but then you run into this. and it's like a barrier. There's just no way to get across it on a bicycle. And within one neighborhood, you can ride around within the confines of one neighborhood, but if you try to go from one neighborhood to the next, this is basically what you run into most of the time, and there's just no way to get across it. Which is why I kind of gave up on cycling in Kuala Lumpur. It was just too much of a challenge. But yeah, look at this. Wow. And this is not uncommon. This, like what I'm looking at right now, this is a very common scene in Kuala Lumpur. A set of roads like this, highways, all sort of merging and creating this physical barrier that only leads in one direction. You can't, you can go vertically, straight and back, or straight ahead, but you can't go side to side. KL just happens to be very close to one of KL's major landmarks. Actually, yeah, we're right beside them. I have to hold my GoPro way ahead of me in the windshield, so I don't know if I have the towers lined up or not. Yeah, more or less. There's the Four Seasons place. Oh yeah, this is also familiar to me. Yeah. Probably isn't too many sidewalks around here that I haven't walked down at one time or another. At least this area, I've been here many times. It's like my learning curve starting up all over again. It's gonna feel like a new city though, I'll bet. To refigure out every, oh here it is right here. Chorus Hotel. Yeah, I never noticed that building before. And yeah, these cars are not making life easy for the bus. They're parking in the bus stop area. I always like to wait to be almost the last person off, and just waving at my friend. Yeah, online friend. I've never actually met him before, so this is interesting. Just know him through YouTube and my videos and my life here in Kuala Lumpur. So, not the last person. Few more, but next to last.
Thank you, sir.
So, thank you very much. And there's one of my bags. Small one. Small but heavy. And then the big one. So say goodbye to my Aeroline bus. It's funny, you often like you get dumped off the bus, and when it's such a, you've been sitting there not moving for so long, and suddenly everything's frantic and you're moving, and I have to be careful I don't walk away and forget something. Like, so easy to leave a bag behind. Chorus Hotel up there. Check this out. I feel like I'm being dwarfed. And it's such a tiny thing all of a sudden. Look at the size of these towers going up. Still being built. Alright. I have a car waiting for me. It's now, yeah, we're just coming up on this huge building I've been talking about. It's in my neighborhood. And how many floors is it? 118, I think. It's the tallest in Malaysia now.
It would be, yes.
And tallest in Southeast Asia or some? I thought it was even taller than even in Malaysia, but I don't know. Anyway, you can see it there. It's gigantic. Quite a stunning building. Kind of an irregular geometric shape too, or maybe regular. Yeah, it's kind of a regular shape, but it looks, yeah, it's an interesting shape. That means we're heading near Chinatown and near my home. Hopefully my home. And there's an old friend of mine, the KL monorail. Spent a lot of time on that monorail riding around. That's an interesting looking train. Beautiful day for a homecoming to KL. And now we are very much back in my old neighborhood. This is the Pasar Seni station. 2 different lines meet here, MRT and yeah, 2 different subway station lines, and a whole bunch of buses come here as well. And it's right. This would be the place to go to get to Chinatown, Pasar Seni station. And my old hostel is right across the road from Pasar Seni, just across and a little bit up. And my favorite lunch place is an Indian buffet.
Turn left, then.
And I wonder if it's
On the right.
still open. Right there. Banana Leaf Curry House. Yep, still in business. DaVinci. And my hostel is right over here in this cluster of...
Is on the right.
So yeah, I guess my guy is right here at Photo SLK. He's the new manager of the hostel. So here's the moment of truth, whether I have a home or not. Hello, how are you?
Okay. So fast. I thought you said 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I thought the bus would come later.
1 person only here.
Can we put this on for you?
Yeah. 1 person only, eh?
Yeah, just
Okay.
one person.
Yes.
Head up.
You've been Malaysia already, yeah?
Yeah, I was in Thailand for a long time.
Oh, you're Thailand long time, ah?
Yeah, but I used to stay here, of course.
I think you know already, yeah. The big room, okay for you, because the 1 4 room.
Here we are. My old home. I stayed in this room before. I stayed in the front room before.
Yes.
And then there's this little room here. This is one of the small
this
ones.
thing.
Oh, this is your storage room.
Yes.
Ah, look at that.
Yes.
There's the bicycle.
That's the bicycle.
Yeah, of course, no air in any of the tires. Covered in dust. And some bags. My trailer is over there. And this is mine. And yeah, it's a bit of a mess in here. So this is going to take some effort to figure out. Heading inside my backpack. Yeah, I already locked the door, so you can just put it down by the door. All right.
Okay, see you.
All right, thank you again. Got the key. Yep, okay. Everything's great. It's nice to meet you finally.
Okay.
Well, that worked out far better than I expected, to be honest. As I said, I was talking about earlier, when in communicating about this place and staying here, the new manager, I guess he doesn't communicate over the internet much, so he just says yes, no, okay. And I just couldn't get a sense of who he was, and it was a little bit difficult to make arrangements, to feel confident that I would have a room when I got here. But I met the guy just now, just super friendly, super nice, And the way this place is operating now, it's not really open as a traveler's hostel anymore. Again, the pandemic kind of stopped all that. it's now people who are staying here long term. So, you know, there is a front desk here, and they used to have, you know, volunteer staff or part-time staff working, you know, checking people in and doing all the hotel stuff. But yeah, that's all gone. And this place has a long history as a traveler's backpackers hostel, so they have a lot of artists that stay here, musicians, and so you see a lot of artwork on the walls, and guests who stay here will, you know, offer their help in terms of making the place interesting, creating some art, you know, like right there, painting on the wall. And my bicycle and all my gear used to be up there on that big loft, and it's just a big open space. But then with the new management, he turned this room into a storage room, and my bike is in there, and it looks like a mess. It really does not look good at all. And the whole thing is flopped over on its side, which makes me a bit nervous whether that was putting pressure on the wheels, you know, and bending them or something. It's better if the bike was, you know, stored better. But, you know, what are you going to do? So yeah, all these rooms, they don't have bathrooms. It's a shared bathroom place. So you go down this hall, and it's another kind of storage area. People used to leave, you know, their backpacks here. And kitchen, cooking area looks quite different. I think there used to be a lot more tables here. Got a sink and something to cook with. Some classic hostel artwork. Fridge and hot water. But I don't know if the current guests do a lot of cooking or not. And this board used to be covered with activities, you know, tourism information, things to do in Kuala Lumpur, but thanks to the pandemic, it's completely bare now. And this is the kind of the smoking area, and there's 2 bathrooms back here, washing machine that you can use, and then there's sort of a lounge area up there. People would do yoga and meditation and play the guitar up there back in the old days. Very basic place, as you can tell. 1 squat toilet, 1 sit-down toilet. It's not a fancy place. Even when it was running as a regular hostel or hotel, it was not fancy. I mean, it's a very simple, basic place. Simple backpackers. There's another long hallway. With, yeah, some more art. Boy, feels a bit like a ghost town. Look at these rooms. Caved in over there. These rooms are actually the more expensive ones because they have air conditioning, but it doesn't look like this. It looks like this whole area is closed now. My old room is actually, yeah, was I staying in here or over there? Yeah, I can't even remember now. Oh boy, man. No, this wasn't my room. Mine was on the other side. But yeah, things are kind of falling apart here. On this side, very grim. But now let's take a closer look at my room. I'm going to have lunch with my friend, so I have to drop off my stuff and head out. Yeah. What a change from where I've been staying up until now. Yeah, this was actually their old dorm room. It used to be their dorm, so they had a whole bunch. They had a whole bunch of bunk beds, I think, in here, and lots of people would sleep in here together, very, very cheaply. And now it looks like it's a room for 3 people, and he said it's the only room he has available right now, which is good for me because it's a larger room, and I'm going to need to be able to spread out. And I guess From all these elegant beds, I have a choice of one of them. And I more than like, oh, look at this, electrical outlets everywhere. I was going to say, I choose the bed with the most, or that is nearest to the electrical outlets. So I've got them here and over there, so I can hunker down anywhere I want. So I think that is the end of my journey. I think I'm going to have lunch with my friend, and I'll just, we're going to head to my favorite banana leaf curry place, the Indian place next door, have lunch there. But I'll shut down the camera before I get there. Yeah, what a day. Great bus ride, loved it, every minute of it. It's great to be here. This place is rough, as I said, but I'm accustomed to this place. I used to practically live here, so I'm used to it. And now, yeah, that's it for the day, it for the video. I'm here. I'm here inside the hostel in Kuala Lumpur, where I used to stay, and where I am staying again, and also where I stored my bicycle, trailer, and all my other gear. And this is my first full day back in Kuala Lumpur, and I just got the the current manager of the hostel to unlock the storage room so I could bring my gear out, bring my bicycle out, and I'm looking at it now. And yeah, it's a mixture. I was really wondering what kind of condition everything would be in after 3 years basically of sitting in storage. And it's a mixture of good news and bad news. The good news is that just at first glance, my bike is in better shape than I expected. It's not in great shape, but better than I expected. So there's my gear. This is the bike over there, and this is a trailer. It's a two-wheel trailer that I pull behind the bicycle, and then there's another bag there full of camping gear and electronics and old camera lenses, all kinds of stuff in there. But the bike, of course, is covered in dust. It wasn't covered during this time because I wasn't expecting to be away for so long. And of course, the tires don't have any air in them. But I was honestly expecting everything to be rusted solid. Like I thought the chain would be completely rusted, and I thought maybe the whole hub would be completely sealed, and then the cassettes and the gears. I didn't think anything would work, but yeah, check this out. I mean, when I left, of course, I left it nicely oiled and lubricated and in good condition. But after 3 years, I wasn't expecting this kind of easy movement. It all needs to be cleaned and maintained, and probably have to break the hub down and just basically overhaul the whole thing. But I was not expecting to see this. And yeah, I won't know for sure how the wheels, like the rims and the spokes, survived. And of course the tires, the rubber will probably have been degraded and they won't last very long. And it remains to be seen whether it will hold any air at all. But yeah, there's the bike. I can't really call it anything because it isn't really any type anymore. The original brand was the Rocky Mountain from Canada, and the model was the Rocky Mountain Route 66. But over the years, I've had this bike, when did I buy it? 1999. So I've owned this bike for about 23 years. It's a 23-year-old bike, and all the bits and pieces have been replaced over the years. So it's like a brand new bike, because you keep replacing components, right? It's got nothing to do with the original bike. Bad news is just in general, everything was covered in rat droppings. There were rat droppings just piled over everything. So there's a lot of rats going in and out. And this bag in particular, I noticed that, they got into it. So rats or mice, chewed their way into this bag for whatever reason. I don't remember. I don't even remember what is inside. So I don't know what kind of damage they did on the inside. We'll find out. But when I saw that hole, I was worried about my trailer, because this is quite a valuable piece of equipment. And I thought if the rats chewed into that one, they definitely would have chewed into this one. But as far as I can tell, the material is still unharmed. I mean, it was very dirty and dusty. I had to clean everything off. But as far as I can tell, no creatures chewed into it. So the material and the zippers and everything are still in good condition. So yeah, there it is. Now I get to open up the trailer, open up the bag, and dive into all the gear and see what I have here. And got to take the bike and get it cleaned up and get it overhauled. So that's the story at the moment. Yeah, it's in better condition than I expected, and in some ways worse condition than I expected. Yeah, once I pump up the tires, go for a bike ride and clean it up, we'll find out what's going on here. Whether this bike is even worth keeping anymore, I don't really know. All right, that's it for now. I'm going to dive in and see if there's any rats hiding in that bag. I hope not. 3 years I haven't seen this bicycle. Crazy.